Hey y'all, it's Pam with 44 Marketplace, and I know I'm about a minute late, but I had the grands tonight, so it's been a little chaotic here. A 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old makes a little chaos, especially when you add in my crazy mastiffs and dinner and homework and everything, and you know, I'm closing in on 50, so I am not used to doing that. I don't have everything to do. So tonight we are doing raised stencils. This is a request that I have had by a couple. We are doing raised stencils tonight. I'm going to give everybody a chance to hop on. Hey Sandy, hey Dar. I can only see a little bit of the comments because of the way I have the iPad sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is one that we are going to work with tonight. So that you can, we're going to show you something with this, and then you can see this side's already painted, and we're going to monkey around with that one. And then we also have this door that has a splatter of some kind on it. I'm not really sure what's on it. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm sure that I just was not careful when I was painting somewhere at something. I have no idea. It was painted sea glass, but I was planning on repainting it anyway, but now I have to because I have splatter all over the middle of it. I don't know what I got on there, and the thing is, there's no telling what it was near to when this happened, because I monkey around with my cabinet doors all the time, so I'm prone to they're just some inexpensive ones that I think I picked up at Habitat or something. Because if you guys have not shopped at your local thrift stores or your local Habitat for your things to monkey around with, you're missing out. I mean, you can get a lot of things. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I have a few people on here now, and I'm going to show you what I've done. This is just a basic cabinet door, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put the stencil on the other door. And then once I show you how we're going to put the stencil on, then we're going to mess around with this door. Hey, Bonnie! Because I did paint this one so we can do a little bit something different up here, more of a finish. And this one right here, I purposely made some mistakes because I want to show you how to correct mistakes when you do it with your stencil. Don't ever, ever, ever worry about it while it's wet. Okay? Cheaper prices, girl, the yard sale page is fabulous. The marketplace, but sometimes they think their stuff is priceless or whatever. But sometimes you're much better off to do Habitat. And you know what? A lot of times if you're a regular shopper at Habitat, you get better deals than even if you shop there all the time. And y'all, I am so sorry about the way my hair looks. I have naturally curly hair, and you know the humidity here in Georgia is crazy. So my hair should have been tied up, and I just didn't even think about it tonight. So sorry. It's been one of those nights. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is I have stencils spread all over creation, and I know somebody's gonna ask, oh my gosh, what idea? That is the best question. That's the best answer I can give you, because I have stencils all over the place, and I've had some of them for so many years. I mean, if you look at this one, it's probably got 300 colors on it, and I did make an attempt to wash it, so I try to rinse them off every single time, but it is what it is, you know. Okay, so now I'm going to turn you guys around. You don't need to see my wild hair tonight. Y'all know what a hot mess I am all on my own, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. This is, if I've got my local retailers out there, y'all shout out. You know I love for y'all to let everybody know where you are, because everybody needs to know where their local retailer is. I want to be your local retailer if I can, but if you have a local retailer, support them. They need your support. We're all in this together. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of jerry-rig this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. This is what we're going to do. And you can see that this is too wide to fit on this door, which is fine. It's no biggie. Because if you guys know me very well, oh, Sandy, you don't say that. You don't want my hair, honey. You don't. I don't really like to put a whole stencil on there. I don't know why. It's just never been my thing. I think it looks too polished, too finished, and that's really not my style. Unless somebody asked me to do it. So we are going to put part of this stencil on here, but we're not going to use the whole thing. And again, I don't know why I do that. It's just my thing. Okay, it's just, I don't know. I'm just crazy like that. That's all I can tell you. I get my little Spackling knives from the Dollar Tree. You can get plastic ones too, but I'm pretty rough on things. I mean, like really, really, really rough on things. So I typically go for metal so I don't break it. Because we're going to see if this will work. If not, maybe we'll raise you guys up. Maybe we'll drop you down so you can see better. Because for some reason, this is trying to over focus. There we go. Ah! Oh. Let's try it again. Come on. Focus. Okay. So, now maybe you guys can see better. Alright. So, this is our stencil. And as you can see, it's just a hair too wide for our raised panel. Okay, but we don't care because we're not using the whole thing anyway. Because that's just not how I roll. Alright, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Dixie Mud, and I don't know if this thing's going to let me do what I want it to do, but Dixie Mud, this is what it looks like. I am very prone to letting mine, I let mine dry out all the time, okay? I'm very prone to letting mine dry out. Sorry. I don't know why I do, but I just do. If you let yours dry out like I do mine, just throw some water in it and it'll be fine. I cannot see the comments, so I don't know what happened. There we go. We're back. All right. So here we are. We have had a ball. All right. So I just like to pull out a bunch of swamp mud and drag it across what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, some of you may choose to be more professional than me and actually tape this thing in place. And normally when I'm doing a piece, I do like it taped in place so that it holds still. But since this is a demo, I'm just going to wing it and we're going to go forward with that because I'll show you what we're going to do later. All right, so I start going over mine and I'm going to show you after I get a little bit of this on here. You'll see there's really not a lot of finesse to it because there doesn't have to be. I mean, I think a lot of people are really weirded out about raised stencils because they feel like that they're really hard to do or something. And remind yourselves, if I can do it, anybody can do it because, you know, I don't even like for people to call me an artist. I'm very uncomfortable with that because I feel like I'm just kind of feeling my way through all of this. Okay, so I'm going to give you I want you to see what it looks like right now. This is what it looks like right now, all right? We got kind of a mess. It looks like a mess, but you'll see what I'm doing shortly. I put it on there, and then what you want to do is kind of drag the tip across there so that you remove a lot of the excess because you don't want it caked up on there. You want it really about the thickness of your stencil because higher than that, usually that takes a long time to dry. And if you want it higher than that, you can always build it up more later. But I find that it works best if you do it about the thickness of your stencil first and then go from there. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll show you in just a second. Okay. All right. My dog's probably going to knock the camera over because she can't get underneath the table. And if she does, I apologize ahead of time. And I'm sure you can hear the other one snoring. She's decided she's not even going to get under the table. She's just going to snore where she is. All right. So far, this is what we've got. All right. And I'll show you guys what we're going to do in just a minute. We got to get the rest of this on here. And now you guys saw about how much swamp mud I had on my little, whatever, my spatula. Or whatever you want to call it. All right. And I just kind of move it over it so that I can get it where I want it to be. If you get too much, just bring it back over it and work it some more. It's just a matter of feeling how you want it to work. You can put as much or as little, but like I say, keep in mind, the thicker you put this stuff, the longer you're going to have to wait for it to dry. And if you've got the patience than I do, then you're probably going to want to make it thinner. All right, and now you guys know how frugal I am. That's why we use the dog food trays. I like to go back and pull off any excess that I can with my little spoon. All right, so we have put very little on, and this is what we have. All right, you guys can see the majority of my stencil. You can see what it looks like, so you know what it's going to be. And I let it sit there just a minute or two. In fact, I see a little bit more that I can probably pull off. And every bit that you can say, that's another little penny in the pocket, right? And sometimes you may see a part that you get too thin. If so, just take that little bit that you've scraped off and put it back on there. Okay? All right, so this is where we've got it. This is, this one was painted sea glass, but we're going to repaint it anyway. All right, so now that we've got this on there, we've wiped our swamp mud off, we're going to pull this up. It's better if you take it at diagonal corners and pick it up, okay? I always pick it straight up. Don't move it side to side or you'll mess your stencil up. And there's what we have, okay? So this is our raised stencil, and it's actually the depth of my stencil, my plastic stencil. Now this has to be set aside to dry, because if you start messing with it now, you'll mess it up. If you notice a mistake in it, because I can see a couple of places where it's a little thinner and a little thicker, but if you notice a mistake, don't worry about it right now, okay? Don't worry about it at this point. At this point, it is still wet, almost like plaster. This is Dixie Belle Mud, okay? So leave it alone right now, because if there's a mistake on it, we can fix it after it dries. That's the most important thing to remember. Now, that being said, my stencil still has mud on it, and so does my spatula. Do not wash Dixie Mud down your drain, okay? If you wash Dixie Mud down your drain, it can stop up your drain. It can cause you some problems. There's a warning on the label, and usually I don't abide by those. But if you are, do abide by this one. Don't wash the mud down the drain. What I usually do is I have a plastic tub full of water close by, and I throw this in there, and I kind of rinse them off, and then I pour the water outside in the grass, because right now my grass is dying for some water. I don't know about yours, but we got a little bit Sunday. But now there's lots and lots of stencils. Dixie Belle has a ton of stencils. It just so happened that this project that I'm working on, I wanted to use something else. All right, so we've used our Dixie Mud. I'm actually going to try to close mine up so that I don't let it dry out again, but we all know how that goes. All right, so now we're going to go back to the other one that we started with that already has a little bit more done to it. Same stencil, same size door and everything, and you can see I made it so that it ends up. I know, can you hear her snoring? You should hear her when she really gets going. She is a loud girl. All right, so we've got our stencil on here, but I left a couple of little mistakes. Can you see where it comes down right here and a couple other places? What you're going to do is you're going to let it dry, and once it dries, the best thing to do is take an X-Acto knife. Surely you guys have one. If you don't, and you're going to do raised stencils, you need to get one. It's about 160, 170. All right, so now once you see where you've got the mistakes, of course, we know I have to have my glasses. Then all you have to do is you take the side of your X-Acto knife and just remove the little edges that are there, okay? And some of these where it should have an opening, if there's not an opening, just scratch those right out. All right, so now you can see we've cleaned all of that up, and all it took was a little X-Acto knife, and now it is all cleaned up. Now, another thing to remember is this sands and everything, like, make sure you cap your X-Acto knife, because otherwise, hey, Cindy, hey, Angel, if you don't cap your X-Acto knife and you're like me, you'll lay your arm down on it and slice your arm open, so don't do that. All right, so now what we're going to go with, you see that we've got this side down here. This side is ready to be painted. And what I like to do with mine, I really like to add paint, and I like to do a lot of different things with it. So this side up here already has clear coat over the top of it so that we can do a little bit of enhancement. This side we're going to paint it so that it matches this side, but I didn't think we would have time tonight, so I wanted to go ahead and get started doing this. All right, so we've got our Savannah Mist and we've got our clear coat, and now what we're going to do is we are going to have to use our stencil that is not wiped off. We're just going to have to wipe it off and make do. And hope that it doesn't get anything on our paint. But for what I'm doing, you'll see why I need to wipe it off a little. All right. We are going to go back in and we're going to add some Grunge Glaze to it. And a lot of times I just want to glaze the part that is raised. And a lot of people have a real hard time glazing just the part that's raised. But here's what you do. Put your stencil back over it, and it's a great way to glaze just what's there, okay? All right, let me show you what we're going to do. You just lay your stencil over it. If you want to tape it to it, please use painter's tape so it doesn't pull your fresh paint off. And what you're going to do is, let me dig in my little brush pile over here. And we use a chip brush. And we have Grunge Glaze here. Dixie Belle, what I'm thinking, we are going to put on there. Oh, you know what? We're going to put something else on there too. We're going to put gilding wax on there too. We got to have some gilding wax. I love that stuff. Oh, and by the way, we are doing a giveaway tonight, okay? We are giving away a little paint kit. It has a 4-ounce paint, a 4-ounce top coat, a sanding sponge, and a chip brush. On this live, during the live, is entered to win. I will choose the winner afterwards because I can't see all the comments, but I can see who comments and shares and likes during the live, and you guys will all be entered into random.org, and I will pull a winner, and I will notify you guys who wins, and you will get a little paint kit. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in and we're going to highlight what is raised. Come on, pick me up. There we go. All right, so what I do is I take my chip brush and I just kind of lightly highlight over my stencil, because what I'm trying to do is just highlight the raised part. And like I say, if you're a true professional, you can happily tape it in place, or you can do it like me and just kind of freelance it, you know? Whatever works for you. All right, so now we've got that on there. So do we want to pull it off and see what happens? It's always scary when I do. And there we go. How about that? Works like $1,000,000 every single time. Now what I've done is I've only highlighted my raised stencil. Can you guys see the difference? I'm going to put it close. Can you see that there's no glaze on the rest of the piece, only on the highlighted area? Now you know me better than to know that I'm not really going to just leave it there, right? I got to have a little bit of my glaze in these corners. So I'm going to take the same brush and I'm just going to highlight and create some little shadows and stuff in there, because that's just what I like to do. We're going to we got a little bit of our stuff, since we had to reuse our stencil. We got a little bit of our mud on there, but that doesn't stress me out either, because we're going to go over it. All right, so now we actually have our raised stencil over, and we used Grunge Glaze on our stencil, and we used a little bit of Grunge Glaze in these little edges here, and this is Savannah Mist with a clear coat over it before we did our raised stencil. All right, so now we got our raised stencil. We're going to let this dry just a minute, and then we're going to put some gilding wax on it, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, okay? Because when we lay our stencil back down, we can put our gilding wax on there without getting it on there. But, you know, I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of thinking that this needs some stormy seas. Who thinks it needs some stormy seas too? I mean, you know, it could always use more. You know me, more is more. More is more. So we're going to put a little bit of stormy seas in these crevices to kind of age it a little bit and to give it a little bit of oomph that it doesn't have to me right now. Maybe go on this edge too. All right, we're going to drag it on this edge because we got to do something while we watch this glaze dry, right? I mean, let's see. All right. If you get a little overzealous like I do sometimes, always have a damp cloth there so you can wipe it back. All right, we're going to do this edge a little bit. All right. Keep in mind, your local retailers are popping on here and they're going to tell you where they are. Shop with them if you can. If you don't have a local retailer, you know where I am. All right, so now you guys can see we've got some up in those crevices and we've got it on our raised stencil. And it looks pretty dry to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some gilding wax. What color do you guys think we want gilding wax? If you don't have mud, girl, you better get some, Tammy. Because I'm telling you, this stuff is the bomb diggity. And you know me, I love me some mud and gilding wax. If you don't have gilding wax, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you. Because I'm telling you, this bronze gilding wax, girl, I would put this stuff on half of everything. Half of everything. It is totally amazeballs. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lay our stencil back over our piece. And you just want to line it up. Take just a minute to line it up, even if you don't have more patience than I do. And, you know, I know we have this discussion every time, but I don't ever wash my wax brushes. That includes my gilding wax brushes. I know some of you guys do, and more power to you. Ladies and gentlemen, more power to you. Mine don't get washed, and they don't complain about it. So now I want this to have a little bit of a metallic sheen to it, so we are going to give it some metallic over our grunge glaze, okay? You guys hang out with me, and I'm going to show you how we did it. We just got to take a minute to do this. And you guys see, I'm just using a chip brush. I'm happy to sell you guys gilding wax and grunge glaze if you don't have it, but you definitely want the mud, because the mud makes the bomb diggity. If you haven't tried Dixie Belle Mud, you are missing out. It comes in 3 colors, and I just use whatever I happen to have available. To me, it doesn't make any difference what color it is. All right, there we go. Now you can see that my raised stencil is all that I have it on there. All right, there you go. See, Claire? Claire, it's the bomb diggity. All right, so now I've got a raised stencil. But you know that that is never, ever enough for me. Hush! That is never enough for me. I want a little bit on this panel because I want to make this piece really stand out. All right. We're going to add a little bit because you guys know I love, you know, I don't really get to use a lot of metallics here because not that many people use them unless I get to do a spec piece. But I want you to see this up close. See how pretty that raised stencil is? And can you see it on the edge? Right in there? Look at that. If you do not have Swamp Mud by Dixie Belle and you do not have some of the other products, you know, the gilding wax and everything, and usually when I do it, I do others, you know. I'll do, let's put a little bit, have you guys seen the new Teal Gilding Wax? It is great to see. All right, so we're going to get some of the Teal Gilding Wax. And yes, my lids are hard to come off because I leave this stuff sitting in the car all the time. I take it with me everywhere. It's like my security blanket. I need gilding wax. My kids laugh about it. It's just one of those things. Woo, yes, we needed the teal. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this Teal Gilding Wax, I've put this stuff, and when they first came out with it, I thought, where will I ever use that? Please, girl. I use this stuff. Have you seen that commercial about the hot sauce? I put this on everything. Well, that's what I do with this, except I don't use the expletive. How about that? Can you see the multi-tonal effect that gives it? It is amazing. If you guys have not tried the Dixie Belle Gilding Waxes, y'all have no idea what you're missing. I mean, it's just amazing what it does. And like I say, typically I don't just necessarily put it on the highlights. I like to have it mainly on the highlights, but I want this piece to have a little bit more all around because, you know, this is a fun piece. We're having fun with this. And sometimes we get caught up in doing things too boring. All right, so there you go. And there we have done a raised stencil. Can you see how funny this is? Thank you. Cute and funny. That is so sweet of you. All right. Yes, this stuff goes on hardware. And no, it does not have to be sealed. Absolutely does not have to be sealed. So, you can see how beautiful our door is now. We have part of it that we still got to do something to. But the other part, you guys have helped me do this. And we have made our raised stencil. And I want to show you the one that we were working with at first. You can see this is what it looks like when we started. So that you can see. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. But see how, can you guys see that there's a little raised edge here and there? Once it dries, you can just wipe your hand all over it. It's amazing how easy that stuff is to sand and get it the way you want it. Not only that, did you guys know that this swamp mud is fabulous for making repairs on your furniture? I mean, if you're missing veneer or something, this stuff is amazing. But now you guys get to see what we've done in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes. We have done this. And you know what? I don't just make it look easy. It is really this easy. I mean, I wouldn't get on here live and act like a crazy person. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. But I wouldn't do it if it wasn't this easy. So if you guys have questions, please send me messages because I am happy to answer whatever questions I can. And also, if you guys need product, reach out to me. I do have a page. But keep in mind, everybody that comments, here's our little kit. I'm going to show you. I got it all here together. I'm going to ship it to you if you're not local because a lot of my people are not local. It is driftwood paint. It is clear coat, satin clear coat. It is a sanding sponge and a chip brush. And they normally sell for 20 bucks. I'm going to send this out to you here during this. Yeah, the swamp mud should come with crawdads. Those things are great. If you guys have questions, let me know. I do offer free shipping on orders of $50 or more. And this is, again, this is Savannah Mist. It's a real light blue-gray color. I don't know how it's coming across on the video. But, yeah, my kids will tell you I've never been normal. I'm that mother. If you guys have questions, though, this is Savannah Mist, one of my favorite colors. We accented it with Stormy Seas, which is like a dark blue-gray green. And we also used Teal Gilding Wax. I want you guys to see how bright this stuff is. We used Teal Gilding Wax, and we used Bronze Gilding Wax. We also used Grunge Glaze, and it really just enhances the whole thing. Now, you could do a lot more to this, but I don't want to keep you guys from doing whatever you're doing tonight. But I did want you to see raised stencils are something a lot of people don't do because they're nervous about doing them. And that really, if you use the Dixie Belle Mud, there's nothing to be nervous about. Hey, Jane, I want you guys to know Jane Tucker came and spent a whole weekend with me from North Carolina, and we had classes all weekend. So it was great. Yes, Gwen, I am going to be, I was asked to teach by Dixie Belle this year, so I am very proud to get to do it. So if you guys have questions about what we used, I will put the what we used in the comments. I am packing up some orders to ship tonight. And if you guys want to do something else, we are going to be doing, have you guys ever used a graining tool? We are using a graining tool this week to create a wood grain effect on something that's been painted. So we are going to do that, and there's a couple other things. We are going to apply wallpaper to some drawer fronts to fix up that little Bombay chest that I couldn't decide what to do. Wait till you see the wallpaper I've chosen. It looks like a geode. It's amazeballs. I'm so excited. It is not off-white. It is a color. If you guys haven't used a graining tool before, then you need to stay tuned because we are using a graining tool this week. We got a lot to do, and I will let you know what night we're doing it. Thanks for watching. Happy painting!